Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to take a journey into the most powerful tool you own, your brain. We're going to unpack the art and the science behind how we think, and, maybe more importantly, how you can start to think even more effectively.
Okay, take a look at this number. That's a 10, followed by 800 zeros. According to scientists, that's the estimated number of possible connections between the neurons in your brain. Now, to even try and wrap your head around that, that's more than the number of atoms in the entire known universe. It's an absolutely mind-boggling level of power.
Right? So the secret here isn't just about having this massive potential. It's all about understanding how to use it. It's not really about raw intelligence, but about consciously choosing the right way to think for any given situation. To get started, let's try to map out the mind. We'll begin with a concept that's probably pretty familiar to a lot of you, the two hemispheres of our brain and how they kind of specialize in different jobs.
Now, don't worry about reading all the fine print here. Just get the general idea. This visual separates the brain's functions. On one side, you've got the left hemisphere, which is like your analytical engine. It handles logic, language, and all the number crunching. And on the other side, you've got the right hemisphere, our creative hub. That's where intuition, art, and big picture thinking come from.
Here's a really simple way to think about it. Your left brain is the tool that lets you break down a poem, analyze its meter, its structure, all the rules. But it's your right brain that pulls together feelings and ideas to create a brand new poem from scratch. One side understands the game, the other invents a whole new one.
But this whole left brain, right brain split? That's really just the tip of the iceberg. Think of it as just the top level of a much richer, much more diverse toolkit of thinking styles that we all have access to. And this chart really expands on that idea. Again, focused on the structure here, not every single word. It goes way beyond just logic versus creativity and starts listing out more specific ways of thinking. Over on the left, you see analytical styles like strategic and critical thinking. And on the right, you find these more expansive styles like creative and visionary thinking. Each one is its own distinct mental tool.
So think of these like specialized apps on your mental supercomputer. When you need to organize some huge, complex project, you fire up systematic thinking. When you're totally stuck and need a fresh perspective, you tap into creative thinking. The real key is knowing which tool to use and when to use it.
So knowing you have these tools is one thing, but how do we actually use them? Let's zoom in on one of the most powerful and versatile skills from that toolkit, analytical thinking.
At its core, analytical thinking is really just this. It's the process of taking something big and confusing and breaking it down into smaller and smaller pieces until it finally makes sense. This is your go-to tool for troubleshooting a problem, understanding a complex system, or digging down to find the root cause of an issue. And one of the most classic and frankly effective analytical methods is simply asking these 6 questions. By answering who, what, where, when, why, and how, you systematically gather all the essential information you need to get a complete picture of any situation, making sure you haven't missed some critical detail. But what if you don't have all the pieces of the puzzle? Well, this is where a technique like the jigsaw method comes in. Just like the name suggests, this approach helps you connect seemingly random, unrelated bits of information to reveal that bigger picture, just like putting together a puzzle.
And analytical thinking isn't just about making lists, it's also about visualizing processes. Look at the diagram in the center of the slide. That's a feedback loop. Models like this help us see how systems work over time, showing how one action creates a result that can then circle all the way back to influence the system all over again.
Okay, so this all builds to our final and honestly most important point today. It's about more than just thinking. It's about what some people call metacognition, which is really just the act of thinking about your thinking.
This quote just nails it, right? The goal isn't to label yourself as a left-brained or a right-brained person. The goal is to become a whole-brain thinker, someone who can consciously look at a challenge and then select the perfect mental tool for that specific job. And ultimately, that awareness is the key. Just knowing the tools you have and then practicing how to use them, that's how you unlock the true power of that incredible supercomputer sitting right there in your skull. It turns you from a passenger into the pilot of your own mind.
So we'll leave you with this question. Armed with this new awareness, what challenge, big or small, are you going to look at just a little bit differently tomorrow? What new tool are you going to try out first? Thanks for joining us.